picture-perfect day outside US Bank Stadium plays host to our first contest of the week here at X Games Minneapolis 2018 as we welcome you to the Pacifico Skateboard Vert Qualifier. What's up, world? Brandon Graham joined alongside the GOAT, the most decorated athlete in X Games history, Bob Burnquist. Bob, welcome to this side of the X Games. Privileged to have you here in the booth for the Pacifico Skateboard Vert.
Thank you, Brandon. Stoked. That was too nice. Yeah, it's great to be here. This is a deep field here. We got qualifiers for Vert. Everyone wants in the big day, you know, big finals day. So it's they're going to put it together. So happy to be here to talk about it with you.
Yeah, and of course we've got Craig McMorris, the third member of our team, out in the field. As you said, it's qualifying, the final going down tomorrow. In 2017, we did the qualifier about a month before the final. Now all these guys have gotten a ticket to the big show. Last year, by the way, the youngest vert podium we've ever had in X Games history. But with the yin, there is the yang, as we see 44-year-old Andy Macdonald back. He's been here since 1995.
My bud, man, we've been doing it for a long time. 95, Andy Mac, dude. A lot of respect for Andy. You know, and he's been doing this on the vert for that long and putting it together and technical as ever.
So here's a look at our format for the qualifier out here this evening. We've got 15 athletes. They've been cut up into 2 heats. Each of them getting 3 runs each at just 30 seconds. So the best run counts, with the top 7 advancing to the final. And as you see there, Michi Brusco, Jimmy Wilkins, and our defending gold medalist, Moto Shibata, they're pre-qualified because they hit that podium in 2017. It's got to be cutthroat out here. You've only got 3 runs. They're only 30 seconds. A lot of guys out here in Minneapolis, you think they may go for broke as we take a look at heat number 1.
Well, they want in. Like, they want to be in the final. So you're going to see a finals-esque prelims. You know, that's what I see it. So yeah, you got who's in this first list here? You got Alex Perelson, amazing, technical, strong, wild, never know what he's going to do. Jesse Thomas, Sandro Diaz, obviously the fellow Brazilian, Jonno Chuan, Augusto Akio. There's a new kid on
He's
the block.
someone that you said you really liked watching in practice earlier, and he might turn some heads.
Yes, he will. Then you got Eddie there. Well, going on the second list, I missed all the last 3. So Paul-Luc, Marcelo, Bastos, Elliot Sloan, Ronnie Gomes, Bucky Vlasic, Clay Craner, and Sam Beckett. These are tough names in both heats.
We've actually got 4 riders here tonight that are former gold medalists. But let's set things off here in the Pacifico Skateboard Vert Qualifier. Again, the final going down tomorrow. We actually shook some things up. This event was actually going to take place before the final tomorrow. There is a chance of rain in the forecast, so we wanted to try to get this thing out of the way early. And kicking things off, 27-year-old Alex Perelson making his 11th X Games appearance, if you can believe it. Yet to find the podium in his X Games career, though, Bob.
Yes, and you know, it just shows it isn't easy out there. Alex came on the scene, came out strong. You can see his tough luck here on the kickflip bendy. First guy to start X Games, first run. It's all good.
Say, you know it better than anybody. It's always tough on your first run, but to be the first one to drop in, especially in a qualifier.
Kicking off X Games.
Yeah, kicking off the entire week, the very first event.
So yeah, but Alex is, you know, I think you got a couple more runs there, and he's got to turn on the heat there, and the will of the tiger, I think, is just kind of, sometimes it's hard. Mentally, it's a game. You know, these guys are amazing skateboarders, all of them are, and putting yourself in that position, you know, that mental position is going to make the difference. But
we do know Alex does have a few tricks up his sleeve that few riders in this field actually have, so hopefully we can see that. We didn't see him out here last year in 2017. 2016 was the last time we saw him, but we move on. Jesse Thomas making his X Games debut, one of 3 British skaters in this field, Bob. What is it about the talent overseas from the UK that's bringing out this young vert talent?
Well, they got a strong skateboard scene, and that'll create some skateboarders all around. Jesse, interesting start there with a switch rolling there. It's really the fakie and then going for the half cab. So you can tell he's on the tech side, starting with his kickflip lean. You know, really tough. Yeah, over nice with a lean 360 there. Really tough with a half cab varial heel. Wow, Jesse you know, going combo 30 seconds. You know, this is what I meant. You know, back to back to back, fakie to fakie 5. It's a really good run. Nice fakie pivot grind there. A little fakie switch invert there. Nice, mixing it up tech and old school. Wow, that was nice.
Whoa. You know,
nice. That was a really good run. Now, needed a little bit more air there to get in the mix, but I think that was, I mean, technically, that was pretty incredible.
As we take another look at this again, only the top 7 will be advancing. We're here in run 1 of the qualifier. You know, sometimes it's easy to spot when somebody looks a little tight, especially early on, or they're making their X Games debut. He looks very comfortable out on this ramp tonight.
Well, as an X Games debut run, I think that was as solid as you can have. So there he is with the, it kind of goes into a, you know, switch pivot front rock. Really, you don't see that trick that much, and it, you know, that's nice. Getting some creativity in there.
Yeah, he does have an ode to old school tricks. There is an 80s influence big time.
He's mixing it up, and he's making Andy Scott proud out in England.
That's right.
It's good stuff. Putting the run down, that's good.
So Jesse's score coming in at a 76, so the bar officially set. Next to drop in, making his 21st X Games appearance. He's no stranger to gold here in Vert. He's done it twice before. Sandro Diaz.
Sandro Diaz, fellow Brazilian brother, long time known. Sandro, amazing competitor, always really focused until you see how he's looking at the ramp. There's no looseness. It's just straight up like he knows what he wants. Too bad there on the heel, but see, when you're putting runs together nowadays, you got 30 seconds. It's back to back to back to back technical. So you're going to see bails, or you're going to see, you know, a finals run.
Yeah, once upon a time, this format featured a 45-second run.
Right.
Gave you a little bit more time to get creative. It's go time, especially here in the qualifier.
Just missed that heel flip there. I mean, and this is a trick he does in his sleep. And I think sometimes the easier tricks for you kind of get away because you're like, okay, this part of the run I got, and then you don't think, and it goes away. But Sandro's definitely coming back strong. It's nothing there.
So we move on to Jonno Chuan, 21 years old. We didn't see him last year due to tearing his PCL.
Sport the knee brace.
Down to 15%, which happened at X Games 2016. Good to see him back in the mix.
Yes, and he's got a knee brace there on that right leg. Not easy to skate with. It's a little restricting, but it also gives you stability. So, I mean, that's the reason why he's out there, you know, skating at an 80%. But, you know, it's not 80% on his skating from what I'm seeing here. He's putting together, you know, a nice run, trying to do a prelims run here. He's got a 5 in. I would suspect the 7's coming in, because he has those. Yep, there it is. That's a mute 7. Right into a body varial 5. So getting technical there. Nice end of the run. Way to design it.
He's no stranger. I mean, this is his 7th X Games appearance for the 21-year-old. We've seen him in vert. We've seen him in big air. We've yet to see him get on that podium. He's been close, especially in big air. What can he do to drop into that top 7 and make some noise for the final?
Well, that was a good run. Jono definitely has more, but I think this is a good start for him to get some, you know, he was hurt, he's back, he's X Games first run, put some together. You know, you got that nervous jitters out, you know, that first, oh, I don't know if I got to run together. Now you do. There's that heel flip, body varial there. You know, I think that, you know, Jono might come stronger. Might be scored higher than Jesse's, but it just depends on where the judges are with that today.
Again, 3-run format, a 78.3. You called it, just jumping over Thomas, taking over the top spot.
Nice.
We count the single best score here in the qualifier, just the top 7. We'll be moving on to tomorrow's final. We talked about it off the top, the youth movement. Here is 17-year-old Augusto Akio making his X Games debut.
This is nice. I mean, this is nice to have the prelims, to have guys like Augusto come out. Augusto's Brazilian. He's from South Brazil. He's from Curitiba. Skates with the local crew down there. He got a nice ramp, and he is definitely showing that he's been skating that thing every day. Starting out with a really nice long nose grind and then into a 5. So that's rare. You usually see the rolling right into airs. He got in technical on the lip and then went back up in the air. So that was really good. Nice.
You're seeing a pace to his skating right now.
That's a nice little nose bone slob air. You don't see many of those. Maybe Jimmy's got them every now and then. Oh, too bad. There was the impossible stale fish. So that's the, you know, that's what I mean. He starts getting really technical. And, you know, he's definitely got that run. He was, I don't think I saw him bail once in practice. And when it came go time, he fell off. So there's the heel flip Indy. That's what Sandro fell on his first run. Augusto got it nice and tight and solid there. And I think that was he's just starting to show his, but you know, surprisingly, he looked pretty cold-blooded there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's his first X Games run, and he seemed like, you know, yeah, he bailed the trick, but he didn't, you know, that frontside nose grind into that 5 already sold me on the power that he has.
Well,
so
yeah,
that was awesome.
He'll get 2 more cracks at it, but a 65, so the judges clearly liking what they saw to that point.
Yeah, and that with the bail there.
So here's Eddie Damestoy out of Bordeaux, France, making his X Games debut, 21 years old.
Exciting guy, known as Frenchie by the homies there. Nice tail grab 5 right off the bat. Oh, too bad. Yeah, you know, he's got a really nice body awareness on his 540s there. He's got a nice, that was a backside tail grab 5, but he's got the front 5s. And hey, this is his first run X Games debut. So you're seeing guys put their first run X Games debut together, and then some don't. But you know, Frenchie has it.
I got to ask the mindset.
Oh, that thumb. See, I missed the thumb. That's what made him bail. So.
How much does it change the mindset? Most of these guys knew they were practicing today, but assumed going into today that this qualifier would be contested tomorrow.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you got to speed it up, get into contest mode.
Well, that's
how much does that shake up, especially some of the young guys?
It shakes it up, but that's, you know, that's what professional means. And sometimes it's just, you know, it is what it is, right? So some guys showed up a little earlier. You know, it's a vert ramp. It's a really good vert ramp. I was skating it earlier. There's Italo for his first run. Italo is just an incredible skater. He skates the mega with me a bunch and skates park and skates for, look at that power. He's got that mega leg.
We've been waiting for Italo to really
nice.
Through.
This is
wow.
This is really good and thought through, and he's got some power in there. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. I hope he put this together.
And Bob.
Nice.
Oh no, Italo.
I was just gonna say that he gets into this like blank brain mode sometimes, and he's, oh man.
So here's the thing, Italo, a household name here at X Games for Big Air.
Awesome.
We haven't seen him skate on the big stage in vert. We've seen him try to get through in qualifying, and of course he did win a vert amateur contest.
He just had a little baby boy.
Congratulations,
he's definitely
Italo.
Focused. He's back on. You can tell. You know, Italo. You know, the reason he's won gold amateur vert.
Yeah,
you know, so he
yeah.
came from he came from that, and you know, and he just started skating everything. Oh, that just went away. And that's, you know, it's the easiest trick of his run. That's a fake ollie stalefish. I think that was one of my first airs I've learned. But that's what happens. You know, he put a great run together, and you know, maybe he didn't think it all the way through, and end up choosing something. There's Theo.
Son Theo.
Nice. That's great, man. You know, yeah, I can tell he's a lot more focused too, because you know he's skating all of it. He's skating the park. He's skating the mega.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw anyone skating mega and big air more during practice than Italo. And here's Andy Macdonald. This is his 59th X Games competition start, and with that, he is officially the most all-time when it comes to competition starts in X Games history.
Andy Mac starting with the rolling. They're getting them some speed. Signature back 5 across the whole ramp, and then straight up with a kickflip mute. Kickflip Andy. Again, check. That's 3 tricks, 3 tough tricks, 4 tough tricks back to back. No setup. There's a setup with the air to fakie, and the 7's coming. That's about the only setup you'll see in that run. Maybe here, maybe a little bit. That's a setup for him. That's a tough trick. That's a, all right. The lean rodeo 5, the nollie heel flip Indy. You know, Andy's no stranger. Look how cool and cold-blooded he is on putting his run together. You know, this is his bread and butter. There's the body varial blindside lips.
I wonder,
that was
Bob,
awesome.
You know, we've been watching him here at X Games since year 1, back in '95. Does he get judged against himself because that judging panel has just seen him
well, we all do,
times.
especially when you have good performances and you have bad ones, and you know, you come from really good performances. They're going to judge you against that, but it's hard not to when you're out there for so long. But you know, Andy still going strong, skating solid. That was a really good, solid first run, and experience kind of gives it. If he was nervous, I couldn't tell.
Well, experience takes him to the top spot. Andy Mack securing that 81, jumping up into first place. And like that, partner, run 1 officially in the books here for heat number 1. As we take a look at our standings, Andy Macdonald taking the lead away from Jonno Chuan. But I think the thing that's really reassuring is seeing some of the kids, what they were putting together on a run before things fell apart. Let's head down to the third member of our team, Craig McMorris. Craig, get in on this conversation. What are you seeing so far down there?
Well, thank you, Brando, so much. There's two things I love about Andy Mack. He's coming with the yellow Bucky, always comes correct. And the second thing, he clinically slaughtered this ramp in run 1. Some young guys, they put it down, but Andy Mack makes no mistake. Run 1, sitting in first place. He's looking pretty for the finals. Brando, Bob?
Hey, Craig, while we have you, seem to be a leader of the clubhouse when it comes to the cheering section out here in front of US Bank Stadium?
I literally had my eardrums blown out by the Brazilian contingent here today.
Of course, dude. I was just going to say before you even answered, it was Brazilians, but I had to wait till you did.
It was going amazing. So once Italo and Augusto put that down, I'm sure I'm going to lose both eardrums.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, guys.
Crack reporting from the course. So run 1 in the books, and it's Andy Macdonald standing on top with that very solid 81. If you're just joining us, it's the qualifier.
Yes.
We've got 2 heats. Each of the skaters getting 3 runs. Of course, you know the format. We count the single best score. But only 7 of the 15 guys will be moving on to tomorrow's final.
And that's overall score, so either one of the heats.
Right.
Yeah, that was good. That's experience right there. And I think that when you're talking about prelims, I don't know the stat, but I would have a hard time seeing Andy out of a finals when there's prelims. He knows how to skate the prelims. Him and Bucky, know what's up. So there's Alex for his second attempt. That was really nice lean there. He's got power. See the difference in power there. Those are somewhat setups, but he's setting up to do amazing. Like that nose grab 5 into that kickflip lean. Ooh, that was a kickflip mute. He adjusted, so there's a second there. There's 2 setup airs. He's going to have a hard time with that. He's going into a 7, I believe.
Oh.
Got lost a little bit there since he had a hard time coming in on that trick. He was going to go for a kickflip mute, then it's a backside air, then it's like, okay, now what am I going to do?
It was a
Let me throw a 7 here. Maybe that'll improve the score.
A much better run than what we had seen on his first attempt.
Perfect kickflip lean there. This is one of the coolest looking tricks, and he does them best. Him and Jimmy got really good ones.
Again, we didn't see Alex in 2017. His
going
best
for the tail 7.
vert finish coming in 2015.
Hitting the camera. That's good.
I'd like to see that angle.
That'd be the angle we're looking at right there. But wow, all right. So he got a little further down his run. So hopefully on the 3rd run, it means that he gets his whole run. So I'm really cheering for Alex. Alex deserves it.
So here's Jesse Thomas, who will be dropping in. Sitting in 3rd with that 76. He was cool as the other side of the pillow for making his X Games debut in that first attempt. As you said, technically sound. You just wonder if the lack of height was
Well,
hurting.
he is young, and he's got time, and that was a much better. So he's looser. He's got a 1 run in. He did that half cab with a nice tweak.
Oh.
For the impossible backside grab. He's really starting to get tech, but that was a higher air right there. So I think his mindset there, he's like, let me do what I'm comfortable with, and I'll get tech, stay down here, and then on my 2nd run, I'll start, loosening up, because he did go higher there, and I think that's going to be the only difference he can make for the next, getting high up in the score.
The importance in a 3-run format to get that solid score knocked out early cannot be overstated.
No, I mean, you can build that. I mean, if you have the cool mind to just throw it, on your last run, okay, high pressure, good, but it's much better to build upon something.
Sandro Diaz, of course, the first to land the 9 in a vert competition back in 2004.
I remember that. That was just incredible to have it in your run. And you know what's even more incredible is he did it in the end of his run.
Right.
When you're gassed out and you're like, there's no gas out for Sandro. He comes from the 45-second days, and look at that, right into like a huge 540, lean air, looking really nice. There's the heel flip he missed, a little bit of a miss grab there, but fixed it. Right into that, wow, the 360 Vera, the alley back 5 route with Sandro really going down. This is awesome. It's another setup because he goes setup to a higher mute 540. He's got like 3 5s in his run already. Getting on the lip for a little bit. Body jaw, I think I know what's coming. He's going to hit that tail on the way on the 5. Nice. Sandro. He knows what to do, man. That's awesome. Amazing. Amazing run.
So
see, these are, I mean, that's a finals run.
Right. Sandro kicking that 14 from run 1 to the curb. Getting absolutely
They might really reward him on that.
Surgical on
body
run
jar.
number 2. And methinks we'll have a new leader here as we take another look.
He starts out just solid, I mean, this is straightens his leg out to know where he is, and you know he's a master of the fives. Right into that 360. He's been doing that since he was 12 years old. I remember that trick forever. He does not bail that. I'd be surprised if I saw bail on that one.
An 83.7 for Sandro,
nice.
And he takes over the top spot here in the qualifier.
That's awesome. That I think it was the body jar 540. That's a really tough trick, man. You don't just throw that in a run. And that was the last trick of his run, so he likes doing that.
So we move on. Jonno Chuan, who was holding on to the lead midway through run number 1. Try and replace that 78.3.
Well, he definitely can. And there it starts out with a 5 there. Another 5. Heel. Getting technical, spinning, another tech. There's a kickflip burial. Then going for the heel flip burial mute. Setting up for something here, Jono. Nice Indy 5. Didn't see that one out. So he's getting it with the heel flip frontside air. He's definitely up in his run. Heel flip fakie. Yeah, dude, if he throws a 7 after that, that's really nice. That is not easy right there.
And Jono upping the ante.
That was great, man. They might really reward him. I don't know where they're going to put them there, but he was just back to back to back. Technical, spinning, you know, staying in there. Wasn't really getting off, you know, things were clean. You know, it wasn't out. There's the heel flip body, varial mute to backside there. He spins his legs around. See that? That's the varial, the body varial as opposed to the board varial.
And that's the mark of somebody who's been here before.
Yeah,
exactly what he needed to do. He put together a solid run 1 score and then an 86 for Jono.
That's it, man.
We have a new leader here in the Pacifico Skateboard Vert Qualifier. Jonno Chuan taking over the top spot.
It's all about them building blocks, man, and Jono did that. That was smart, and that was good.
So here's Augusto. Oh my goodness, he looked like he was setting the entire field on notice early.
I like his
on
start.
Run number 1.
Look at this, roll in into a stand-up nose grind. That's like, you know, that's not a little kid's nose grind. That's a big right into a 5. Kickflip Indy, staying up there, staying technical. Double tweak on the frontside air, the backside 5, and a heel flip Indy. Nice slob nose bone there, really well done. Kickflip backside grab. These aren't easy tricks to set up for. There's the impossible stalefish. Nice. That's the one he missed on the last run. So little setup. Going with a gate twist body jar with an alley-oop disaster. That was a good run. Fit a couple of things in there. It was really good. I don't know where they're going to put them, but I like the start with the nose grind, and then he got in the air. So he definitely mixed up, added the lip trick in there.
Judges always remember the first thing you do and the last thing you do.
Yeah, that was a good. There's the double tweak, you know, the Chris Sen into the D-way or something like that.
And you got to remember, at 17 years old, he is the youngest skater in our field here in the qualifiers.
Nice. So we got the Brazilian is the up-and-comer. I like to see that. Augusto deserves it. They got a solid crew down south, and there he is. He made him proud.
79.7, very strong score for Augusto, putting him into 4th. Let's head down to Craig. Craig, what's going on down there?
As earlier promised there, Brando, both my eardrums were blown out when Augusto landed. The Brazilian section blew up, and they're happy to see him sitting there. So it's all a party down here beside the ramp, boys.
Nice.
It seems like it's all smiles and all high fives with a few run number 2's been very good for this heat so far, Krager.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. The scene is perfect, no wind, perfect temperature. The ramp is skating great, and we have the world's best.
Well, he got the kickflip Indy he missed here on this last one, and a loose Indy 5, but fixing it into an extended Madonna. Really nice recovery there for Frenchie. Nice little nose grab gate twist. You'll see many of those. These are a couple setups, though. He has to, like, you know, there's another setup. That's 3 setups in a. Oh, but I see why. That was awesome. Right into that front 5. Yeah. That was, you know, what I like about that is he didn't really know what he was going to do. He was just kind of skating, and I like that type of skating, you know. But
skating a little edge.
When you don't have that many walls to put something together, you got to think. But see, you got loose on this Indy 5. That's not easy to fix.
Right.
And then that squat, usually it takes most people out, and you can't really come back up in the air. But look at that shot. Tail, that's the start. That's his first wall. Perfect. He's got a really solid Tail grab 5, landed kind of low, but pretty secure.
And Bob, it doesn't matter how many times you hit a vert ramp. We're talking about making your X Games debut. I mean, this kid's only been skating in contests for less than 5 years now.
Yeah, he's.
I mean, when you talk about not quite sure what he's doing,
right?
You know.
No, in the sense of like he's got the tricks. If he thinks about it, he does them, and that's that's his talent.
Right.
But when you got 30 seconds, you have to know where to go, because if you get lost, then that goes away, and he's just had.
Well, that's why we
tricks.
see guys like Andy and Sandro.
Exactly, they know how to put it together.
Right.
Exactly. Yes.
So here's Italo Penarrubia again, was so close on that first run.
Feeling
you could just
that.
tell this crowd was ready to erupt for him.
It's really nice. I think the difference that we have with the guys that are skating mega, look at that stale fish starting up strong into that kickflip Indy. Really solid skating. 5 slow. That's a mega style 5 there, a big air style 5. Kickflip mute, solid on his board, really technical. Italo, stay on, bud. This is that little nice Madonna. All right, this is where he lost it on the last run. So, all right, going a little switch grind.
Oh!
Well, that was supposed to be a nose grind, and he ended up with a nose blunt slide. Now that would have been great if he landed, but that's it. He's inching up. That was a few more walls, maybe 3 more walls than his first run. But we're seeing solid skating from Italo. I think that instead of a grind, a nose grind or this and that, those are the things that when you go into details and go into the top spot, I mean, that's where you're going to look for. So Italo Penarrubia.
Italo trying to handle double duty this weekend. Of course, we'll see him in big air, but can he get into the vert final? Here's a look at our standings thus far in run number 2.
Solid. Jono looking sweet and good back from injury. That must feel great.
And
Sandro,
again,
that's a shoe-in.
You want to keep your eyes on that 7th spot, which Italo is currently in. Of course, we have another heat of 7 skaters to go, but only the top 7 will be moving on. So you don't want to be in that 7th spot with still another heat to go. Here's Andy Macdonald, the guy we truly believe will be moving on to the final. It's his 26th X Games appearance. That's tied for the most, and of course 23 X Games medals. That is 3rd most.
No stranger here, Andy Mack.
He's
so he's got to run. He's got to run. I suspect he's going to try to better it, even though that was a pretty solid run. There's a kick from you going a little higher. So you notice how people get a little bit more excited.
Oh. And Andy Mack uncharacteristically going down early.
Yeah, but you got to run a first run in, so that's not bad. You can throw that one away. But you saw how much higher that kickflip mute was. And I've noticed that the first run guys are kind of like, okay, let me just get a run in. So you tend not to push too much when you do your airs. Second run came in. Both guys that had their first runs just started to go higher. So that's good. He's definitely going to build in the score.
So with that, run 2 officially in the books, and it's Jonno Chuan leading the way as we get to the 3rd and final attempts of heat number 1 here in the Vert Qualifier. Beautiful day as you see the sun beginning to set just outside of US Bank Stadium.
This is, you look at Sandro Diaz, Andy Mack, and you're thinking like, yeah, they're sitting tight, but you got next heat with Bucky Vlasic and all these names, and Elliot and Ronnie, all strong. Clay, Marcelo, these guys, whoever's skating in this first heat, you want to be
right. You're gonna be looking
high up as possible.
Looking over your shoulder. Yeah.
Even Jono, to be honest with you, like that's how tough and.
Well, so far right now, Jono is setting the pace with that 86. I mean, obviously we have to see what Heat 2 has in store, but just from skating
that's a good base to
year
start.
in, year out, what do you think that bubble score is going to have to hover around? Move on.
If I'm just looking at names, I'm looking at, Andy Mack being somewhat of a bubble, right?
Yeah.
But like, anything could happen. Guys are skating, Elliot and Clay are putting so
right.
It really depends. And then here's Alex too, because there's guys in his heat that haven't put a run together either.
So here's Alex Perelson. He's on the outside
nice
looking
kick
in right now.
Powerful moves. Every time he snaps something, he's trying to max it. And that's what's nice about Alex, and that's what kind of puts him out of control a little bit, but he's in control here into that tail 7.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going for, he knows he had to do, he couldn't just cruise through.
Again,
you have to put it together.
Top 7
going
advance, and Alex was an 8th.
If he tried to cruise through it just to make it and then be kicked out from the next heat, he would have been, I think, more upset than just going for a 7 and bailing.
So Jesse Thomas, he's sitting in 5th place. That's not a comfortable spot to be here in this qualifier, knowing in another heat with big names still to drop in. Had a very nice 76 on his opening run.
I think this is great for him to kind of feel out how he scores between this this field, you know, and there's that. He's trying to, he's definitely going higher and trying a little more technical. If you can get more tech than that first debut run there, that was really nice. But yeah, he's trying to up that score.
Right,
so
you can't fault him for that.
No,
I mean, that's what he needed to do.
And he did it right. He put a run together, and then he, you know, try to better it. And you risk more, you're gonna bail. So today's type of technical, you know, performance, that's gonna be, you're gonna see bailing.
Sandro Diaz, he's got 8 X Games medals, including 2 golds, which he's won in this event previously. He's sitting in 2nd place with that very nice 83.7. Nothing official yet, but he's got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that was great. See, he's definitely going to be looser. You know, starting out with a huge 5. Look at that lean crossbone. No stranger. There's the alley-oop heel flip. Right into that 1'5" nose grab, kick flip.
Oh,
yeah. See what's going on there. I mean, when you're going from a heel flip like, you know, a heel flip alley-oop and then into a 5 and then kick flip, you're moving your front foot around a lot,
right.
You know. So there's that technical aspect, but that's okay. That was a strong first run. He can do that.
So Sandro will hold on to that 83.7 as his night is over. Now he just sits and waits, and we move on here to our current leader, Jonno Chuan. He had a nice first run, upped the ante to take the lead on run number 2. Now he can really go for broke here, Bob.
Yeah, and I was gonna say he should start with that back 5. In the last run, he started with the frontside air and then did the backside 5. So he changed it up there and then got overexcited and bailed the frontside air.
His best finish in vert here at X Games was 8th back in 2015. But with the way he was skating here today, he might have a podium on his mind.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking. He's thinking getting better, back from injury, must skate. You know, he's and that's cool. You see smiles because, you know, when you get hurt, man, it's not easy to come back, and it's great to come back and then put it down.
So here's Augusto Akio with that 79.7 on his 2nd run. Good enough for 4th place, kind of in that middle tier. You can't feel too comfortable with another heat to go. But man, it looked good on run number 2.
It looked good, and that was great. People are, you know, we're proud of him. I'm proud of him, and I think that he's, you know, that nose grind to start is just awesome, right into that mute 5. So he's going for the same run, right? He's got this run, and he's wanting, unless he's gonna, well, there's the kickflip lean. I don't remember him putting that in on the other. But there's that was it. You know, that was a debut for Augusto Akio, and great job, man. He put a run together. He could be in the finals. We have a tough 2nd heat, but you know, we could see him in the finals.
It's neat to see X Games athletes out there. I saw Hamana Reynolds and Jagger Eaton, Pamela Rosa out there cheering him on tonight. So here's Eddie Damestoy. He's
really
sitting
nice.
in 6th place.
Got a nice tail grab 5 to start. There's the kickflip in. He messed up, squatted it out, got a little hang up right into an E5. I guess the squat doesn't matter for him.
Right. It looked like he surprised himself.
He doubled up on the tail 5, so I don't know why he did that. That's what I mean. He just thought about it and did it again. So little front lip, couple setups here. Another setup for his front 5, which is a really nice front 5, straight up and down. Oh, that was a really good eggplant. Back tail. So he's got tricks. Back tail revert. That was a much better run. That was a much better run.
He thinks so.
Oh yeah, dude, you got to be psyched on that for sure. That was good. Back tail reverts aren't easy. And look at this straight up and down front 5. He does them really good. He's got a good snap right into this.
Wow.
Great looking eggplant, and then right into the back tail revert. So that was a strong finish. That was a smarter finish. And that was great. I'd give him a better score than the 2nd run. So
can he up that 73 and give himself a little bit more breathing room here in the qualifiers?
A couple of setups kind of got him there. He could fix that and make that score go better than that without really doing much.
777, 77.7. He jumps up a spot. improves upon his score, so now he'll have to sit and wait. So here's Italo Penarrubia. He's been close. If he can put together this run, Bob.
Oh man, don't you know, I'm just a big fan, and I can just say just scream at him, you know, like this is Italo deserves it. He wants it. Let's hope he gets it.
So here's his last chance.
Really nice tail, getting better and better every time. Oh, the kickflip Indy way up there. Oop, fixed it. Nice. Didn't go for the 5. That could have been a bail, so he fixed that. He might have to fit the 5 in there somewhere. I don't know what, maybe after this kickflip mute. But he will keep on his run. It's not, put in. All right, didn't feel, that's a ghost flip, but that we'll take it. There's Ollie Fakey. Oh no.
Oh, and he gets hung up.
Yeah, Italo, man. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Well, there's his vert, you know, side of things. Oh, he almost grabbed that early, but that was really good looking. Almost Linky Nueda-esque when he leaves it way out there. You can see like a little anxious. There's the kickflip mute. Great angle of the kickflip mute. Almost over flip, fixed, and in. Italo, solid skateboarder all around, street, tech, park, mega. I mean, this guy can skate it all.
Hey, he let it all out there here tonight.
Yes.
And I think we're going to look back whenever the dust settles and we find out who gets in the final, and I think we'll look back at Italo going, what might have been.
Yeah, it's hard when you know you can put it together. But see, I see him going back and forth like him, Clay, and all the guys are, you know, skating mega, skating vert. It's a different snap. The transitions are different. You're going to spin your 5, and all of a sudden you got to speed up your 5s for the vert. You know, and I could tell that he's even doing a slow 5 there. So tough break for Italo, but he'll get to focus on big air now.
Here's our final drop in for heat number 1 here in the qualifiers. Andy Mackey's got that 81.
Well, he's got his run. He's got his backside 5 and his kickflip alley mute into a kickflip Indy. So it's 3 tech tricks right into the mute 5. No space for chill. Set up only for a 7. Mute 7 here. Nice. Great job, Andy. I guess backside Madonna. I don't know if someone slapped me for naming that wrong, but whatever that was. And then nollie heel. Well, you never see them bail that one. Look, he knows. But yeah, you're fixing. You're coming out of rodeo, man. It's fine. You got to have your foot in the right place, so that happens.
So he'll hold on to his first run score as we take one more look at his third final attempt.
He has to spin it faster because he didn't really get up there as much, but he knows that what he has to do to put it down. So there's a 1 foot and then tail grab and then tail smack. And yep, Andy Mack.
So that's a wrap for heat number 1 here in the Pacifico Skateboard Vert Qualifier. Jonno Chuan leading the way with that 86. But remember, you want to keep your eyes on that 7th spot. That is that bubble spot. Italo holding on to it, but of course we have an entire second heat still to drop in on the ramp. Some big names, some former gold medalists in this event to drop in for heat number 2, but it's Jonno Chuan leading the way here in the Skateboard Vert Qualifier. More from X Games Minneapolis right after this.
I like it. It looks, see how the lighting looks fucking.
Welcome back to downtown Minneapolis. We're kicking off X Games Minneapolis 2018 with the Pacifico Skateboard Vert Qualifier just outside of gorgeous US Bank Stadium. And Heat 1 officially in the books here at the Pacifico Skateboard Vert Qualies. And we move on to Heat number 2. What's happening, everybody? Brandon Graham alongside the legend, Bob Burnquist, and of course, Craig McMorris out in the field. And there you see our standings after Heat 1 in the qualifiers. And it was Jonno Chuan leading the pace, Bob, with that beautiful 86.
Yes, he did it. Good evening, everyone. And yeah, you got Jono with coming back from injury and just kind of no pressure, but just wanting to do well. And, you know, he put a run together, and now he's sitting in first place with a tough second heat coming in. So he's the one that's sitting pretty, you know, because from second on, that's how stacked the second heat is. So this is it.
Well, speaking of Jono, let's head down to Craig McMorris, who I believe is with our current leader.
Thanks, Brando. I am with Jonno Chuan. Now, Jono, we noticed that knee brace on your right knee. That didn't seem to hinder you. How's that leg feeling?
It's doing good. I blew out my PCL at the 2016 Austin X Games. I just overshot the mega and exploded on the flat bottom, which took me out for a little bit, but I'm stoked to be back, and the knee's feeling good, so glad to be here.
So after Heat 1, you're sitting in the top spot. You look at Heat 2. Who are your biggest threats?
Man, I wouldn't call them threats. I just call them amazing skateboarders. And,
I'm sorry.
And seriously, like, everybody in this heat is pretty incredible. Like, Bucky obviously is a living legend. Sam has some of the best style in skateboarding. Paul-Luc's one of the most powerful dudes out there. Marcelo has like every trick. I mean, I could go on and on. There's seriously so much amazing skateboarding in the second and first heat that it's just fun to watch.
So to sum it up, they're all threats to that #1 spot. 7 going through to that final tomorrow night. Brandon, thank you. Back to you.
Yeah, so Jonno Chuan trying to get into that final. He's got to be feeling good with that score that he put up, but it's not comfortable the rest of the way down as you take a look at this start list of Heat number 2, Bob, including 2 guys who have won this event before. Of course, Sam Beckett, and one guy who's won this event many a time, Bucky Vlasic.
Yeah, and Jono mentioned Paul-Luc, and there he is.
Right, so let's kick things off for Heat number 2 here in the Pacifico Skateboard Vert Qualifier. And it's Paul-Luc Ronchetti setting the pace here in his 11th X Games appearance. He's got a silver medal that he earned back in 2015 in Austin, trying to get back on the podium. But first, he's got to get into the final and jump into that top 7.
Well, Paul-Luc has really strong and consistent skateboarding. He does a lot of these vert demos, so he's always on the vert ramp. And with this type of ramp there, you can tell how solid his airs are. It's that front side air, how high that was. Now, a little body jaw, he's got to start getting up into those are kind of setups. I mean, there's a tail grab. He starts flipping and spinning, and he has them. There's a kickflip indie there. Right into the backside 5. Well done, like a nothing. Frontside ollie there. Into the heel flip indie, starting to flip, get technical, into a nose grab 540. That is starting to heal. There's another tail grab. I don't know, maybe he got a little lost there. That was a nice indie tail. Paul-Luc is holding back. Paul-Luc is holding back, but there's a reason. You know, it's prelims, and he wants to get a score in. I can tell he's working more on the mental game side of things. There's a kickflip indie.
Paul-Luc, one of 3 British skaters out here in the qualifier today, and the sun has set, the lights are on. It's not often that we get to see vert here at X Games under the lights. This is pretty good.
Nice, beautiful day out here.
So Paul-Luc's score coming in at 74.33, and as you said, that puts him into 7th, which is that bubble spot. Unfortunately for Italo Penarrubia, he has been
it's more of a mental game there. He wants to run, he has to do better, so it's almost like you would want to use your 3 runs to just do the best run you can. So. Right. He's taking a different approach, but that's Paul-Luc, and I think he has it. We got, who's next?
Marcelo Bastos.
All right, Marcelo, Vai Brasil. Here we go. Marcelo's got a big bag of tricks, starting out with a tail 5 into the heel flip. You're going to see him constantly flipping his board and spinning. There's a kick flipping. That's a 5 and 2 flips. There's another 5, 2 5s. Right into a setup because he's doing another 5. Into a kickflip indie, throwing it in there, does not want to bail. Usually that would probably be a kickflip indie fakie, so he's holding back, if you can believe that. Indy 360, yeah. I can see what Marcelo's doing here, and he's doing really well with the nose grind revert. Smart skating, prelims to finals type of skating.
Again,
wants to have a score.
Right, Marcelo, it's his 10th X Games appearance, and there you see the talent on display. He's medaled in this event before. In fact, you got to go back to 2013 when he got a silver and a bronze, trying to get back on the podium for the first time since then. Very strategic skating, though, Bob.
Very strategic. No longer a rookie. You know, what's crazy is he was going for a kickflip backside grab. I just saw that what happened there, and he had to transfer into an Indy grab for the way his board flipped. So that is not easy to do. He had to think quick. Things are happening quick. You're watching that in slow-mo, but you're thinking light speed to make that decision. So great job on Marcelo holding on. See, there he goes. He's got to fit. That's what I mean.
That's awesome. So, a 79 for Bastos, and you saw kind of holding back a little bit there.
He's got more.
Right, so that puts him into a very good spot. Here is Elliot Sloan, no stranger to the X Games stage. Of course, a gold medal in big air last year,
nice.
Trying to get into the vert final.
Elliot, just incredible all-around skateboard. I was skating with him at Big Air earlier today, so he's now on the vert ramp, so he's definitely feeling the change of transition there, but not showing.
Oh!
Kind of showed a little bit there. A little bit of a loose leg coming in. This transition is a lot tighter than the Big Air ramp, so I felt like that was a Big Air blues bail right there.
Bob, I've been wanting to ask you with Elliot, because he's been skating so much, and you obviously see him out at your ramp a ton. He's had so much success in Big Air, but we haven't seen it in vert.
Right. Well, he's got the talent for it, and he got that heel flip 7 on the best trick gold, and then he got into finals. I think it was the same, and he's got the skating to do well. He's got skating for podium on vert. He's that good. It's really hard to focus back and forth. I'll tell you that. The Big Air vert thing probably throws him off his vert game a little bit.
So with Marcelo dropping into that top 7, that puts Jesse Thomas now in the bubble spot from heat number 1. So you got to keep your eyes on that.
Ronnie Gomes. This is here's another Brazilian, really technical vert skater. He's been skating vert a lot. Spends a lot of times on the vert ramp, starting out with a 5, lean there into a 10.
Oh.
You don't see many of those bails, but he's also one that's skating the Big Air. So.
It's that balancing act, right? These guys were practicing all day on Big Air.
That's right. And then you got to go out here and get that tight tranny snap.
And again, if you're just joining us, this contest was supposed to happen tomorrow.
That's right.
So the psyche was, hey, Big Air practice. We'll get out there for vert practice, but we're probably going to be spending majority of our time with the Big Air guys out on the mega ramp.
That's why you prepare yourself prior to showing up. And Ronnie was out there skating mega and vert, so it's no stranger. It just happens, but that's in there on the back of the head.
And now
Bucky.
One of the biggest names in the history of skateboarding, synonymous with success here at the X Games.
Just
the
awesome.
Oldest competitor in our field, 45 years old, 20 X Games medals to his name.
Indy 360. Wow, really tough trick there with a switch nose grab 3. So those are tough technical starts there for Bucky. Right into his 5, front 5, doesn't his sleep. Beautiful. Back lip, and now now he starts getting tech. There he's almost got the pizza maker in. Went for a nollie kickflip Madonna, I believe, or it could have been a stale, but he was trying to nollie kick, really tech trick. Flowed through, had solid 2 runs. That was, I think Bucky was feeling the toughness and just going for every run is an attempt to get a good technical run. He wasn't, these are walk in the parks, that's like, mute 5 doesn't in his sleep, beautiful. But, yeah, he was going for a nollie kick lean, just too bad. He was doing those nonstop too, so then it becomes a mental game. You're like, maybe I should put it in, I should do something else, and then all of a sudden you bail it. Oh, man.
It was like right in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let Bucky provide the analysis.
That's right. It was right in the sweet spot and just about missed the flip.
So
thanks, Bucky.
There you see, that's Jesse Thomas. He's sitting in that elimination spot, the bubble spot of 7th place. Will he get bumped? We shall see as we're early here in heat number 2. Clay Kreiner, what more can you say about this kid? He is just a thrasher in every sense of the word, including that part that just dropped via Thrasher, video part madness. He is competing here in vert big air and park.
Nice, stale to a mute 5, to a kickflip mute, solid high, alley-oop back 5. Saw him do one of those, a big air just today. It's just crazy. Now he's going in there and spinning a lot quicker into a kickflip Indy. You know, Calais, oh man, that into a kickflip backside grab. But you know, hey, it's technical, it's tough, and you know, he just about bailed that one. But he's no stranger to skating vert contests with no pads. So,
right.
You know, when he puts pads on, maybe that's like he's going like, oh, maybe I can go on a knee slide. So
Clay's the only guy competing in 3 different disciplines in skateboarding here at X Games Minneapolis, just as he did last year. He got a medal in big air. Now he's trying to get into the vert final.
First run for Clay, feeling it. Not off his board, feels like he's solid. The ramp feels good, looks like to him. His tricks are there. Let's see him, what's up with second run.
So here's our gold medalist from 2016. We didn't see him last year. Do not count out 26-year-old Sam Beckett as he returns to the X Games stage.
Starting off with an Indy 5, landing really good, getting a nice frontside air, then a backside air. Kickflip Indy. Nose grab 540. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. I can't believe he put that one down. He was about to hang up, and then he brought that in. Oh, with the almost hang up on the lean to tail. Alley-oop backside Smith. Loose skating from Sam, but still on his board. Oh, with the nose grab gate twist. Oh, an axle stall on your run. Now he's lost there, but yep. I think he was going for the ollie board 5.
It should be noted, Bob, once Sam put it together, and we do give the young guys when they're first starting out a year or 2 to get their feet under him. But once he got it together, back to 2015, it was bronze in best trick vert, bronze in vert, and then he won gold in 2016.
Yeah, Sam is one of those guys, and I think that, you know, I've been seeing a lot of Sam on the park, on the concrete. I'm seeing him everywhere, so he's definitely evolving into that all-around skateboarder. And when you know, he's amazing at that, but then the vert field is so stacked and tough and rough, and you know, he's got to put the time on the vert, but that was pretty good for a first run. Sam definitely has it.
So he'll look to clean that up.
Yeah, definitely.
So run 1 there for heat number 2 done. We move on to run number 1 done. Run number 2 as we move on. Paul-Luc, Ronchetti, and there you see a look at our standings with all top 15, and Jesse Thomas living to see at least another day as he stays in 7th place. Here's Paul-Luc, Ronchetti.
Well, the first run of the second heat didn't change much of our overall there, but you definitely should see some changes there. We got guys that can put runs together, and Paul is definitely going to make a better run. He's got a score.
He's sitting right below Jesse in that 8th spot.
Yeah, so starting off with the heel flip, then a backside, supposed to be a body jar, then a frontside ollie. I think he's taking the approach where he's just going and thinking and then doing. Oh, into the body jar 5. That's what Sandro ended his run with, and he's put it right in the middle. A nice judo air, another 5.
He extends so well on those judos.
Yes, he's got the air, but you don't. The frontside grind might get him a little bit. You need a little bit more than. Well, Paul-Luc, that was taking his foot off on the frontside air. Those were hard tricks. He's got a lot of 540s in there, but I think the setups are going to hurt him. And, you know, you really got to think through. You got 30 seconds. You don't have that many walls. You got to know what you're doing. There's the backside body jar 5. That's really tough after you come in on a 540, hit your tail like that. You don't see many of those, and that's why. Kickflip Indy. See, Paul-Luc's got much better tricks to add in, and I think he's waiting for that mental game. That was a better run than his first run.
So he's trying to knock out that 74.33. Jesse Thomas in front of him with that 76. It was better than run 1. Is it enough to knock out Jesse Thomas?
He could. It's going to depend on what they think.
A 77.33, and with that, Jesse Thomas officially eliminated. Paul-Luc Ronchetti jumping up into that 7th spot.
Jumping into Bubble Boy now. He's the one. But yeah, he definitely has improvement. he's got room to improve. But that was a good debut for Jesse there. There's no, I think he can hold his head high there. That was good stuff.
Marcelo Bastos with that 79. just missed out on the podium last year in 2017, had to settle for 4th place.
And it was an incredible
It really
run.
was,
So
yeah.
there's Marcelo starting off with a tail grab 5 into a heel flip, front side air, into a kick flip Indy, getting technical, spinning, Indy 5, really solid, well done. Tail grab setup for something here, backside 5, into a mute 5. He's got all grabs and 5s. You know, usually you're good at one 5 or another. Marcelo's good at all of them. He's got the gate twist tail grab there, setting up for the nollie heel 3. Yeah. When I saw that Indy 3 in his run, I knew the nollie heel was coming, and you know, that's a nollie heel 3. And what are you going to do? You bail him or you make him?
Marcelo sitting in 5th place with that 79. It won't best it. He does have one more crack at this thing.
He's got a good spot. He definitely can make it better. He would probably be thinking about finals. He might be testing out a trick or two. Now you're kind of in there, 5th place with the stack. I don't know. You might
But there's still some big names on the outside looking in, including this guy, Elliot Sloan. He's sitting in 14th, trying to replace that 29.66.
It's funny. He gets the attention and he gets the, you know, the favoritism on the big air, but the guys don't sleep on Elliot on the vert. He's an incredible vert skater. Comes in, skates every day. There he is. Nice solid airs into a tail 5. Really good trick. Frontside tail grab. Start flipping his board here in a kickflip Indy. Indy might do a 7 here pretty much. That's the setup with an Indy 7. Oh man.
And you know, Elliot, Bobby, he did tell our research team that he's concerned if he doesn't do well in vert, that it might affect his mental state for big air.
Well, that depends if he puts so much weight on it like that. I think that it should just loosen him up. You know, it is what it is. You know, vert is a tough, you know, that's a lot of tricks, a lot of combos. You got to be skating all the time. And he is. I think maybe he's thinking about that because he's skating vert a lot. He's putting it together. That 720 doesn't bail in his house.
And let's not get it twisted. With you not competing in big air this year, Elliot is the preeminent favorite to win gold in big air.
Yeah. And Ronnie's feeling the pressure, trying to put a run together for his vert performance with a tail grab 5 into a backside grab 5 into a heel flip front center. That's too bad, man. He does those nonstop.
Ronnie just needed to put a run down, Bob. He was sitting in 15th place, putting immense pressure on himself on his 3rd and final run.
That's too bad, but you know, he does have another run, and that's why he got 3 runs, and that's why best run counts, because you know it could happen. And from experience, most of my events ended up in the 3rd run. I don't like the pressure, but it does put you in a spot.
Again, if you're just joining us, Paul-Luc Ronchetti sitting in that bubble spot of 7th with the score of 77.33.
With Bucky to go? Yeah.
And we turn our attention to Bucky Vlasic, the most decorated vert medalist in the field. He gave us terrific analysis after his run on what went wrong.
What went wrong. Indy 3 into a switch nose grab 3. It looks like a gate twist tail grab, but he is coming off switch, so that is a completely different trick. Mute 540. Okay, front 5. That's like a frontside grind for him. No problem. Really well done. Back lip. Setting up for his nollie kick. Bam. Nollie kick clean. Oh. Got the flip. That's such a technical trick. Going nollie kick flip. Nose. Putting your foot on the nose. Adjusting your back foot to that nollie kick. And then adjusting your body. There's so much going on. He did everything right but one thing, which is his body. Oh, this front foot kind of was off there. Yep, I think that front foot didn't come in. But yeah, I mean, it was almost there. And
one of the handful of locks we thought going into tonight was Bucky moving on to the final.
He's looking at what's going on, and I thought he was going to put like more of a prelims run. He's definitely going. If you're doing a nollie kick lean, you're trying to get up there, not just not just qualify. So, and this is the mental side. As experienced as Bucky is, as we are. If you bailed 2 times on the same trick and now you got a 3rd run, so
we've seen Bucky do it before. You know, save his best for last, but he's going to have to do that.
But you have to dig deep, and that isn't easy.
So there you saw Paul-Luc Ronchetti. He's still waiting, sitting in that spot. He wonders
wasn't
if he'll
that
get
time.
bumped.
So
yeah. So here's Clay Kreiner, a guy who could absolutely
another guy.
shake things up with the top 7, trying to replace that 44.33 from run 1.
Nice stalefish to start. Into that mute 5, going pretty big into a kickflip mute. People are changing things up into alley-oop backside 5. Not an easy trick. Another kickflip Well, a kickflip Andy into a kickflip back grab, which was I think he failed. Nice job with the body varial 540. He's doing it here. If he can just hold on and not cruise too much. A little cruise there, but he might be setting up for, well, there's another 5. That was different. The other one was an alley-oop. Into an 80 to fake it. What is he going to choose? Well, that was a solid run.
He needed a full pull. He needed a solid run. I ask you this, Bob, was that enough to bump at least Paul-Luc Ronchetti and jump into the top 7?
I believe so. He was a little bit more in control and knew where he was going. Every wall was a trick. Maybe he set up once. You know, Paul was skating amazing, but he looked a little lost, but his tricks were there. So I think that he might be bumped off. Let's see what the judges think. Yeah, Clay. Just put down an amazing video part.
Yeah.
Just go check it. Clay Craner, just check it out.
Yeah, literally it dropped, what, 3 days ago. It's good to be Clay Kreiner right now. Hey, and his score comes in an 82.33 for Kreiner, jumping him all the way up into 3rd place. And with that, Paul-Luc Ronchetti getting bumped out. And now Eddie Damestoy, our French skater, is in the bubble spot.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of different bubbles here with these guys putting these runs together. That was a great run by Clay. Good job. And Paul is not out.
Right.
Out of the bubble now, but he's got one more run. And I think he should be able to find himself. That's 2 runs to get his mind there.
So here's Sam Beckett.
Sam. Nice Indy 5. He went to an Indy 360. I'll take a cue on that. That's how to do Indy 5s, I guess, on vert. Indy 3, then turn your body around. He did it. Kickflip backside grab like nothing. That's a really technical trick to throw down like that. Into a straight up and down nose grab 5, tail grab 5. And this alley-oop backsmith, really nice trick. Rune does him really well. There's that air 360 into the K-twist body jar, into a body jar, into something else because I know the Holly 5 with a board slide in there. Tough trick, great trick to end with. But I don't know. That was a really good run. Wasn't lost. He was definitely a little bit more in control. Maybe not Clay-esque, but it might be enough for, you know, that was a bail after time.
Certainly, certainly better than run number 1.
Yes.
So he's trying to best that 67 again. Eddie Damestoy holding on to that 7th spot with that 77.66.
I think Frenchie's out of the bubble now.
He would need to best that to crash the top 7.
That was better than Eddie's run. A little bit more control.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how they, you know, throw him in there.
Judges really taking their time with this one.
That's why I don't see me sitting in that seat and I'm over here talking to you because it's not easy.
Wow.
Yeah, they're taking their time. This,
Yeah.
you know, these guys are putting it on the line. They all deserve it, and we want to make sure that they're looking at the right deal. So,
and they do that, a 78.66, so just enough to best Damestoy, and Beckett now jumps into that 7th spot.
I think they placed him in a good spot because everyone else above that had a little bit more control and usage of the ramp, and you know, Sam can definitely better that. That was great.
Well, it's 3rd and final attempt time here in heat number 2 of the vert qualifier. There's a look at our standings. Again, if you're just joining us, the top 7 will be moving on to tomorrow's final. Will Paul-Luc Ronchetti be one of them? He's currently on the outside looking in, sitting in 9th. He got bumped out. What can he do, Bob? It looked like you thought early he was maybe doing some safety runs, setting some things up.
I'm a little bit surprised because he usually has a run, and I don't know if he was, you know, he's just trying to do it loose so he's not so nervous, because sometimes when you're just, you know, trying to focus on the same run, but he has it. He has the tricks. Starting out with the heel flip Indy. Let's see what he does to change things up. You know, there he's starting out with the body chart 5. Yeah, he's definitely going for it. Kick flip Indy. That's what I mean.
Oh!
That's the tray flip Indy grab. That's what I'm talking about. He's doing that one all the time. I was like wondering where that was, and there he put it down. Almost with a bail. Backside 5. Paul wants to stay on his board. Judo air just for the count that wall. Another body jar 5. I guess the other one he kind of snapped. That's 2 body jar 5s.
And you can hear
another heel flip body jar.
And he rides away. The crowd here at US Bank Stadium letting him hear it as they're on their feet. here in the qualifiers.
Yep, well, he put that down. He almost bailed that 360 flip Indy grab.
Yeah, as we take another look, this is what we wanted to see out of Paul-Luc Ronchetti, saving his best for last on the outside looking in, had to go for broke again.
There's the 3, I think this is coming. Here's a 360 flip. Kind of gets caught on his forearm, then his knee brings it back in, and then he goes Indy grab, lets it go. Usually you want the ball.
All right.
Oh my God.
Well, let's bring in Craig. Craig, you're down there, man. It got loud with Paul-Luc finishing that run, huh?
Do you guys believe in magic? Do you guys absolutely believe in magic? I don't know how he kept his feet on the board. That was unbelievable. And the crowd lost their mind, and they're losing their mind to that score, 81.6.
Wow, thank you, Craig. Yeah, that jumps him all the way up into 4th place. We talked about, is it going to be enough to get him in the top 7? Yes, and some, Bob. And with that, Beckett gets bumped out. He'll get one more chance, of course, but now that puts Marcelo into that bubble spot.
Yeah, and Marcelo has that nollie heel flip 3, so he has a way to get better. Not a bad bubble at this time of the event. We got, what, like a couple of people are putting their
Well, there's still a couple of names on the outside, though. Elliot and Bucky.
Yeah.
Oh, they were?
We got him, so it's a tough place to be. But look at Marcelo, and he's going to just put down the run. He knows he has to make it better. He has that nollie heel flip in his sleeve. He's
trying to replace that 79 to give himself a little bit more breathing room.
Starting out with a tail 5 like it's nothing. Into the front side, heel flip, kick flip. Not changing his first 3 walls or his first 4. He's doing his thing with an Indy 5, tail grab set up into a backside 5. Yep. Marcelo's repeating his run, mute 5. Kick flip, mini fake. He changed that, so there's a better. And there's the nollie heel 3. Definitely got better on 2 tricks here, right into the frontside gate twist. Tough combo for Marcelo, and then the nose grind revert to finish it off. Maybe he has another. Well, yeah, that was the end of that. That was a better run, man. He's definitely gonna bump up, and people are starting to turn it on late in the game here.
Wow, saving his best for last. This is what run 3 in a qualifier is all about, though, Bob, and we've been waiting for this from Marcelo. He's looked so good this evening. He's sitting on that 7th spot, but again, would love to give himself a little bit more room.
That's hard to do, to have a run and then just make it better and still get consistent. He's working hard. He's skating a lot. He was getting ready. I was watching, his social media. He's just like, out there skating all the time, and that's why he can think about making it better and then make it better. So Marcelo, great job there. Should bump him up.
Wow, in 87, yeah, we have a new leader, Bob. Bastos takes over the top spot.
And that was a better run than Jono. Like, that's awesome and well-deserved. That's great, Marcelo. Very, very hard work pays off.
And with that, he
takes the stairs down. I don't think I've ever done that.
He punches his ticket to the final, moving all the way to the top spot. No one is bumping him. Elliot Sloan, though, just trying to get into the top 7. This is his 3rd and final attempt, and he's yet
a run. He wants a run.
To land a full one, Bob.
He needs a run. He wants it, but I think at this point you just want to land something. You want to come out in the vert, and he's, look at that. He's trying to get some height here for his tail 5, one of the best ones in the biz. People are getting out there, and there's frontside tail grab. Hold back a little into that kickflip Indy. Solid. There's the 7 that's going to happen. Bam. Just in his sleep. That's right, Elliot. And that's how you do it. Into an Indy 360. He's doing it right here. Gate twist Indy. Well, another Indy to fake. He's not going to help him much, but he's got the cab heel.
Oh!
Yeah. That's I think he got a little lost. He did, maybe he got beyond the 7 and he thought he was gonna, I don't know if he he has that, but then lost.
He was right there, Bob.
Right at the edge there. Very that heel just about left. Yeah, he needed that full. The level that we're at, Bubble Boy.
Yeah, we saw really just a second ago sitting there on the bleachers, Augusto Akio. He's sitting in that 7th spot.
And his run was incredible.
Right.
Go back to back. So, oh man, Elliot Sloan, incredible skateboarder. Couldn't put it together here on the vert, but just an amazing vert skater.
So there you see Augusto still holding on to that 7th spot. Of course, Sam Beckett will be our last skater to drop in, and he's sitting in 8th place.
Well, Sam had a great run, and that is the score he had. To make that better, It's not going to be easy, but Sam definitely has it. And all Sam needs to do is land that Ollie 5 with the board slide, and he takes Akio out.
So Ronnie is sitting in 15th place. He just
Ronnie
needs
can
a full
put it
run.
together. Look how high that mute 5 was off the first hit. Right into a Indy 5, then backside 5. 5s are no problem here for these guys. Oh, that was a little weird. That was under spun, but he got it. He stayed on. He's still alive with the tail backside 360 into the front cab. Really good trick. Oh my gosh, lip slide, blunt to fakie. Trying to get in a couple of tricks. A little loose there. Oh no. Oh my God. All right. That was the
yes.
that was the heel and then come back from the flip and unflip.
That was the Ronnie run we wanted to see, Bob. Now Augusto holding on to that bubble spot of a 79.66. Is that enough to get him in?
You know, with that last trick like that, maybe. He definitely had the tricks in that mute 5 was huge. Had a little bit more power than Augusto. Augusto had his own style starting out with that nose grind, so it's going to be a while. I don't know. You know, I really don't, but they could bump him up there. He had that front cab. You know, Ronnie, that was a good solid run from Ronnie with a lot of 540s and good tough tricks. You know, frontside cabs aren't easy to throw in your run, and Ronnie put it down. Let's see what the judge think. That's another Brazilian.
Yeah, can Brazil pop out Brazil here? Oh my goodness, the score coming in at a 72.33. You saw his reaction. I bought a Reynolds is shocked too as he shows some love to Augusto.
It is, but I mean, you know, again, I'm not a judge. I think maybe more of a bubble, maybe, you know, maybe an 8th or something like that. But, you know, that is not.
You want to talk about pressure. 20 X Games medals, half of them gold. Bucky Vlasic needs to put it together just to get in the final here.
He's been here before, I'll tell you that. And those two tricks, he is not coming off his board. There's like setting up mute 5 into his front side 5. Really solid start for Bucky. It's that nollie kick, and it's coming. It's after this back flip. Let's see if he decides to keep it, and he does. As a true cold-blooded killer, he goes for it. And this is where he's in his sleep. You know, I think this is the part of his run he just puts stuff down. Bucky, he can just hold on. Oh man, going for that. I mean, it ended up being a frontside switch, frontside grind, but he was going. No. He might have put it. He might have made it happen, dude. Those first 2 tricks are incredible. I think he flowed through his whole nollie kick lean after bailing 2 runs. It's not.
We've seen it time and time again from Bucky. So many guys in these moments buckle under the pressure.
Not Bucky.
Not Bucky.
He doesn't bucky. He doesn't buckle. He buckies.
Yeah,
he makes it happen.
He absolutely.
Look at that. His back foot came off, but he's done that trick so many times, and he just fixed it real quick midair as he's blind and spinning. And
he did what he's capable of doing.
He knows. Bucky, man. Well, I'm glad he put down that nollie kick because I know he's thinking about it. And that was enough for Augusto to be out.
An 84.33 for Bucky Vlasic. That puts him all the way up into the top 3. He's moving on, and with that, Augusto has been eliminated.
All right, Bucky. Well, it's great to see. It's not easy to do, and he is skating hard and going and going.
So Clay Kreiner, he's already in. He is safe. Now it's just for, I guess, drop-in positioning at this point for the final tomorrow as he's sitting in 5th place.
Well, if you're there and you're in the finals and that's that, I'd be testing out finals runs right now. So maybe something.
So Clay Kreiner,
he's already doing a tough run.
Right,
so
I was going to say.
Look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
He just tried to go with the highest mute 5 on the vert.
And the dream will be actualized for Clay this weekend by qualifying into the final. He will be in the vert final tomorrow. He'll be in the big air final, and he will be in the park final, the busiest skateboarder here at X Games Minneapolis.
At this point right here, he's like, there's a mixed feeling here. I think he's going, yes, I'm in the finals. Oh my God, I got another skate. You know,
right. Because if he did not move on, he could immediately put his focus to big air.
Exactly.
Right.
So let's see here.
Oh, and these are the moments that we love here at X Games, Bob. We've got one final skater to drop in.
All right.
Sam Beckett.
Uh-oh.
He's sitting in 9th. Andy Macdonald is in our bubble spot. with that 81.
And that goes from what I say, Andy McDonald's a bowler.
Right, you said that. Yeah.
It was tough.
I thought, man, that seems too. No, that score's going to hold up, but there he is in the bubble spot.
Sam can do it, but it won't be easy.
So here's Sam Beckett.
There's that Indy 3 to a 5 kind of thing, and that was beautiful. Right into this setup to kick flip backside grab. He's doing it. He's solid. He's chilling. There's the nose grab 540 into a tail grab 540. Lean air to set up to a kickflip Indy. Tail smack, keeping it in there. Backsmith to keep the flow going. Backside air 360. This is a really good run, Sam. I know what he wants, and it's coming.
Well, that was
right
it.
After
the buzzer goes.
So
Sam Beckett, of course, a gold medal in this event back in 2016. Was it convincing enough to the judges to bump Andy Mack?
I'll tell you what, I would say it was up until I was expecting to see the Ollie 5 with the board slide, because that's the jugular ending he was looking for to really make it happen. Now it's up to the judges, but it's going to be, they saw him cruise through the end. That was a good run. He cruised through. I don't know.
So here we go.
It could be.
Andy Mack with that 81 is sitting on the bubble. Sam Beckett would need to best that to get into the finals.
I don't know if he got lost or where that trick ended up, because he was set up for both runs and he bailed it. So I don't know, man. That might have not been it. Yep, 9th place. So Sam's not in. Andy remains. Bubble Boy goes to the finals.
Wow.
All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he was sweating.
A sigh of relief from Andy McDonald, who put down that 81 on run number 1, and you had to think, he's feeling good.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, he's definitely feeling good. I mean, you never want to cheer for someone not making it in. You want Sam Beckett to make it in, but, you know, that's it. He put it together, he put a run, it wasn't good enough, and now Andy's in.
So Andy McDonald, of course, joining Bucky Vlasic and Sandro Diaz, the 40-plus club that is going to be a part of our finals group.
That is great.
And
great to see.
There's a look at our list. Marcelo Bastos with that massive 87 on his final run to become our top-ranked qualifier.
Very well done. These guys killed it, and they're getting ready for 3 other guys that are coming in tomorrow, and that's Moto, Shibata, and Jimmy Wilkins.
Yeah, let's not forget about that podium from last year. They'll be joining.
That is going to be a whole nother game. But these guys, you know, they're this field here, the guys that are in, they put tough runs together, technical. So let's see.
Yeah, well, let's head down to Craig, who I believe is with the busiest man in Minneapolis. Craig.
I am. I'm with Clay Kreiner. Clay, you were competing in 3 different events. You skated a number of hours today. What were you practicing most?
Oh man, just trying to like split it all up and spend a bit of time everywhere. You don't want to drain your body skating one thing too much or skating all of it too much. So I don't know, just trying to fill everything out. Some of the courses, like the park course, you got to figure out. A vert ramp will always be a vert ramp, so I spend a little bit less time over here, but stoked to make the cut.
How much gas you got for the finals?
Oh, I'm stoked, man. I mean, we'll see with the weather tomorrow. I was told if it gets canceled out, I might end up doing all 3 events on Saturday. So we'll see, man. I'm stoked.
It's all going down Saturday. If it doesn't go down tomorrow night, thanks, Clay. Back to you, boys.
Thank you, Craig. That would be crazy. I know you've competed in 2 events before in one day, but 3 in 1. That's
3 in 1, and that's due to weather. You never want to schedule it that way, but you know that's Clay. That's the monster. That's gonna be tough. He's gonna have to choose, like he said. You know, so. Great job.
What a night for qualifying X Games Minneapolis 2018. Couldn't think of a better way to kick things off after our 2 heats of 15 total skaters, 7 right away, moving into the finals, which of course will hopefully be going down, weather permitting, tomorrow. But we're just getting started out here at Minneapolis. Stay with us all weekend long. For Craig McMorris and the legend Bob Burnquist, I'm Brandon Graham saying see ya